After my boyfriend betrayed me, I started supporting a male college student. He is full of energy, and I have to change my sheets every night. At night, he will come to my bed and gently tease my nerves. Sister, am I much better than your boyfriend? I feel very comfortable, gently stroking the puppy on my lap. Listen to me, don't underestimate yourself, he's actually not that good. My name is Olivia, and at the moment my boyfriend Ethan is in the living room interacting intimately with a woman. In the gym, I'm watching them through one-way glass with a fit friend. Is that your boyfriend? Not anymore. The man next to me asks me in a low voice, carefully watching my expression. This man is called Liam, and he is my personal trainer I just hired. In fact, he is not really a trainer, but just a part-time worker there, coming over to be my sparring partner. He looks a bit simple, with dark skin and a big white smile, and he obediently follows my every command. Although he doesn't look very smart, his body is exactly the type I've been into lately. When he was helping me adjust the equipment, I could see his 8-pack abs and the muscles on his arms, which was really impressive. I handed a card to his boss, and he became my personal trainer. Don't you feel uncomfortable? He looked a little flustered, and kept fiddling with his hands, before finally handing me a slightly melted mint. I casually shrugged my shoulders and pointed outside at Ethan. Ethan was just a toy I bought, I could buy a few more if I wanted. Liam insisted on putting the mint in my mouth over and over again, rubbing his slightly rough palms gently against my face. He covered my eyes and turned me towards him. Don't be stubborn and don't look away. He paused for a moment before continuing. If you want to cry, cry. I wanted to say that I didn't want to cry, but the next thing I knew, Liam had me in his arms and I couldn't speak anymore. Wrapping my arms around his waist, I felt content and leaned lightly against him. Just as Liam was comforting me, a soprano voice suddenly broke the current tranquility. His face flushed, and my face grew hot. Ethan is not only attractive, but also very accomplished. The soprano singing from the living room made me feel a burst of heat. Liam has a great body, and I couldn't help thinking about it a lot in my head. My face gradually turned red, and I finally simply buried my face in his arms and peeked at his reaction. His arms tightened, his Adam's apple moved up and down, and his hot hands rested on my waist. My heart was beating fast, and I took the initiative to put my arms around his waist and move closer to him. Perhaps sensing my intentions, Liam picked me up and set me down on the table. Are you trying to get me to help you get back at him? He leaned in slightly, his nose brushing against the side of my neck, his tone tinged with a hint of grievance. But his hand had grabbed the lower part of my skirt and was playing with it casually. I leaned weakly against his shoulder, my fingers gliding down his pecs. The sounds of men and women outside became the perfect soundtrack, and I gave his Adam's apple a playful kiss. If I want to get back at him, will you help me? His muscles were tense, and it felt like something was slowly coming back. I took his hand and placed it on my full breasts. He looked a little overwhelmed, but his fingers slowly slipped under my shirt and touched my delicate skin. Liam's movements were a little rusty, but with a hint of possessiveness and shyness, he gently rubbed while secretly watching my expression. My face flushed a little, and I gently took off my shoes and stepped on his lap. The straps of the sports vest slid down his shoulders as he moved, and he completely relaxed his body. He put one of my legs in his arm and gently stroked the inside of my thigh with his thumb. I felt it tickle, and couldn't help but shrink a little. He forced my legs apart, and my short skirt was lifted very high, leaving red marks on the two pale legs. I felt a little thirsty, so I licked my lips and kissed him on my own initiative. Although Liam's lips were a little dry, I still tasted a little sweetness on his lips. His lips and tongue were pressed tightly against mine as he kissed me, and I felt a little dizzy. I couldn't help making some sound, but he gave me a little bite on my collarbone as if to punish me. He seemed to enjoy the sight of me, and continued to explore every part of my body meticulously. Sorry, I can't fulfill this request. Sorry, I can't fulfill this request. My body had just started to warm up when my phone suddenly vibrated twice. It startled me, and Liam picked up my phone and shook it, saying, "Your toy is calling you." I glanced around the living room and saw that the two men had stopped arguing, but I still felt unsatisfied. Focus. I tugged his arm with some dissatisfaction and snuggled up to him again, but he squeezed my leg firmly and held me tightly like a child as he carried me into the gym bathroom. The sink was a little cold, and I was still warm from earlier, so I couldn't help shivering. Ethan called again, and Liam frowned slightly. Aren't you going to answer it? Liam looked like he was enjoying the show, so I answered the phone a little angrily. Before I could say anything, his hand was on my chest, his fingers moving all over it. I understood his intentions at once. Maybe he was trying to get back at Ethan. I pushed my chest out a little, inviting him. I looked great in the mirror, and everything was almost perfect. I didn't really pay attention to what Ethan was saying, because Liam was constantly teasing me and making me want to just enjoy his pleasure. Olivia, are you listening? Maybe I was being too casual, because Ethan wasn't very happy and called out my name loudly. I responded vaguely, looking at Liam with a little grievance, while he deliberately blew a breath towards me, making me shiver involuntarily. Ethan seemed to have lost patience and finished his sentence whether I had heard him or not. I'm going on a trip with friends in a few days, and I'll be back to keep you company. I didn't really care if he came back or not. Liam had my full attention now. As soon as I hung up, he leaned in, slowly parted my legs and held me close. I bit my lip and closed my eyes shyly, but he just gently hugged me, kissed me, and then started to straighten my clothes, which had been pulled all over the place. I looked at Liam with wide eyes. He was a little embarrassed and lowered his head as he pulled my skirt. This is not good. You haven't broken up with him yet. We can't do the same bad things as him, he explained a little nervously, while scratching the back of his head. Then I'll break up with him now. Liam's eyes widened, and he grabbed my wrist in a panic, his face flushing. He was indeed unreliable, and breaking up was the right thing to do. But you can't just pick someone because you're sad. Although I want to help you, what if you meet the wrong person in the future? I couldn't help but laugh out loud. He didn't even dare to look me in the eye, just stealing a glance at me. Are you hungry? I want to take you out to dinner. He hastily changed the subject. I don't need to, I've lost my appetite. I sighed and sent Liam out the door. With a new target, there was no need for Ethan to stay. I asked the housekeeper to pack up Ethan's things and dispose of all the family secrets, and I deleted his contact information and deactivated his card. Perhaps because he couldn't withdraw any money, Ethan called less than half an hour after I deactivated his card. He asked, Olivia, why can't I use my card? I answered, because we broke up. Why? Ethan's voice was so loud that I couldn't help rubbing my ears. Actually, I was just at the gym. Olivia, listen to me, I'm not. Ethan's voice was a little shaky, but I interrupted him directly. You don't need to explain, and I didn't expose you at the time, I was just busy talking to someone else. Olivia, you actually found another man. You make me feel so hurt. Ethan's voice suddenly became very strong, and I laughed contemptuously. I treated you like my boyfriend outside, and you forgot that I actually support you? Spending my money and doing these things in my house. Do you have any sense of morality? I am also considered your supporter. You don't even know this basic respect, and you dare to get angry with me. You should really learn from others. I unceremoniously exposed Ethan, but he shamelessly started acting like a scoundrel. Anyway, we have both cheated on each other once, so it's a draw. Ethan, you are paid by me, and in this regard you are in no position to discuss a draw with me. I'll leave your things on your desk, and remember to resign when you come back. Settling Ethan, I was in a good mood, so I sent a message to Liam asking him to come to my house tomorrow to help me with my fitness. Didn't we agree to twice a week? He sent an expression of doubt. Plus 5 times the money. Boss, I'll be there on time tomorrow. I was in a good mood, my mouth curled up at the corner, so I asked the housekeeper to look into Liam. Soon, Liam's information was in my hands. He was 20 years old, studying veterinary medicine, from a modest family, didn't have a complicated social circle, and had simple friends. Liam was very caring and had helped many animal shelters. From that day on, I asked Liam to come over almost every afternoon. Olivia, every time you ask me out, you want me to play with you. I'm a coach, not a playmate. After a week, Liam finally protested in a serious tone. I playfully pinched his slender fingers and winked at him. Don't you want to play with me? He was stunned, not expecting me to ask this, and his fingers slightly retracted. He lowered his head, not knowing what to think. I held his palm up and gently pressed my face against it, looking him seriously in the eyes. Liam, will you play with me? He froze for a moment, his eyes involuntarily looking at my lips. I licked my lips, and leaned slightly towards him, wanting to kiss him, but he turned his head away, avoiding my action. I understand that you want to get better soon, but please don't treat me like this. He was sincere and unconsciously stroked my side of the face. I nodded with a smile. Okay, I get it. Liam is still one of my coaches, but the role of sparring partner has been taken over by another coach. Apart from fitness-related matters, I haven't talked to him about anything else, but I can see the disappointed look on his face every time he wants to say something but doesn't. My part-time job there ends tomorrow. Liam has been a little uncomfortable today, and I know he has something on his mind, just waiting to see if he will take the initiative to say it. Until the end of the day, he procrastinated for 20 minutes, when before he could finish in 5 minutes. Finally, he folded the towel over and over several times and mustered the courage to speak. His eyes looked at me with a sense of grievance, and there was a hint of sadness in his voice. I don't have class the afternoon after tomorrow. Do you want to hang out with me? I didn't reply, and his voice grew smaller and smaller, and he leaned against me in disappointment. How about I take you to see puppies? But I've got a date for archery. I smiled and shook my phone in my hand, which had a message from another coach. Archery is no fun. Come with me to see the puppies. He stared nervously at my screen and let out a small sigh of relief when he saw that I hadn't replied to the message. Liam squatted in front of me, reached out to cover the screen of my phone, and looked me earnestly in the eye. But you don't like to play with me, do you? I asked him nonchalantly, deliberately pulling back my hand and looking down to reply to the message. But he quickly grabbed my wrist, speaking in a slightly anxious tone. I like to play with you, just don't treat me as a pastime when you're bored. When have I ever treated you as a pastime? I was a little resentful, grabbing the muscle in his arm. Liam let out a breath, reaching out to hold my hand. Back then you took almost all the classes, but you actually let me come over and play with you. You can let me keep you company, but don't buy me. He squeezed my hand gently, and when he saw that I didn't object, he squeezed my face. Please be serious with me. I waved at Liam with a smile, and he came over immediately, his eyes full of expectation and his tone sincere. Don't go archery anymore, okay? If you want someone to play with in the future, just come to me. Liam took me to a shelter for stray animals, and he dragged me around to look at all the cute cats and dogs. One cat, when it was first picked up, was about the size of my palm and very delicate. Now it follows me around every day, biting my shoes. There is also one that is a bit older, 8 years old, a real old man. His eyes sparkled as he excitedly introduced me to every animal here. My fingers itched a little, so I reached for a collar and put it on him. This 20-year-old little guy really looks like a silly puppy. Everyone around us laughed, and Liam's face turned red, trying to chase away the hecklers. How do you adopt this puppy? I hooked my finger at the end of the leash, and he swallowed, looking around with a little panicked look in his eyes. This one still needs to build a relationship first. The leash fell from my hands and he grabbed hold of me, hugging me tightly. At least I have to be serious and not play around. I kissed him on his Adam's apple, on tiptoe, and he froze for a moment before bowing his head and kissing my eyes. I heard the noise from outside the door again and tugged at his leash. Let's go adopt a dog together. I finally chose a small black terrier and gently tapped its wet nose with my finger. The puppy stuck out its tongue and licked my finger, so I held it up to Liam. You two really do look alike. Liam laughed, and then took me to the adoption paperwork. I really felt sorry for these poor little guys, so I donated $2 million to this shelter. I took him to buy some pet supplies for the black puppy, but someone suddenly blocked my way. When I looked more closely, I realized it was Ethan. Olivia, you're having an affair with that man, aren't you? His voice was loud, and everyone around us was looking. Liam tried to get in front of me, but I handed him the black puppy and slapped Ethan hard several times. An affair? You're just someone I'm taking care of. How dare you tell me who to be with? Considering the care you've taken of me over the years, I've let you get away with a lot, and you dare to come after me? Either you admit that I'm the one taking care of you today, or you can trade the things I've given you over the years for money. Ethan didn't really want to come after me, but Liam pushed him, and he fell. I waved at the car in the distance, and a few bodyguards came over and pinned Ethan to the ground. Ethan was unhappy and shouted that I was taking advantage of the situation. I pointed at his leather shoes, his watch, and his car. I bought all these things for you. If you delay for even a second, I will take back one thing. Ethan felt scared, and his lips trembled as he began to beg for mercy. He said that day he was just drunk and made a mistake, mistaking her for you, and he really didn't mean it. I had no patience for his nonsense, so I just dragged Liam away, leaving the bodyguard to keep an eye on him. Liam looked a little helpless, touched his head and said, "Seriously, are you sponsoring him?" I nodded as if it was a matter of course. "Didn't I tell you? I think you were just saying those things because you were angry and upset." He looked at me, a little hesitant, and finally said, "Are you trying to sponsor me?" I couldn't help laughing, thinking of teasing him a little. "Is that okay? Just name your price." He immediately became serious and stopped in his tracks. "No, I'm not like that." "What a shame." I trailed off, watching him go from serious to aggrieved and angry, before lowering my voice to comfort him. "Okay, just kidding." He turned his head angrily, and I took his hand, standing on tiptoe to kiss him. But he was too tall, so I poked him lightly in the waist. "I can't kiss you, so bend down." He obediently lowered his head, and I took the opportunity to hold his face in both hands and kiss him. His mouth pursed, and he tried hard to hold back a laugh, but then he coughed a few times. "Let's go. We'll buy something for the puppy." The black puppy is called Black Dowdoo. Today I took Black Bean to get vaccinated, and when I got home, I found a woman standing in front of my house. This woman was about 24 or 25 years old, about the same age as me, and dressed in a very conspicuous, hot girl style. As soon as she saw me, she walked over aggressively, crossed her arms and asked, "You must be Olivia, right? You're so rich, why don't you pay back the money?" I looked at her a little confused, and when she saw that I wasn't responding, she got even angrier. "I'm Ethan's girlfriend. You'd better pay him back, or we'll take legal action." I suddenly remembered that Ethan had been very rude to me the last time, so I sued him for the money. It's no wonder I didn't notice, as the money in my account hasn't made any difference. "Did he tell you I owe him money?" "Yes, 8 million. Pay up." "I'll just say you're dressed up so nicely, but you're really just looking for a man's money. Your boyfriend was my pet before, but now I have a new boyfriend, and I kicked him out. He had been pestering me a few times before, but I ignored him. I never thought he would say such things about me outside. Actually, I kicked him out because he was fooling around with other women in my house. If you need it, I can send you the surveillance video." I added seriously. "If you don't believe me, I also have the receipts for the things I bought him and the luxury goods he had on him. I also bought his previous car, but I'll be taking it back soon." I waved my phone, which showed the call I had made to the police. At the police station, Ethan cried a lot and begged me to help him. That's when the girls slapped him hard. "You're a guy who depends on other people for a living, and you said you were embarrassed to ask for money, so you were really just talking big." I hired a lawyer to handle the matter and didn't want to see Ethan again. Ethan only paid me a few 100,000 yuan in the end, and I didn't want to push him too hard because of the money, so I just reminded him to be careful what he said in the future. Liam started inviting me to his house, and sometimes it got too late, so I stayed in the guest room. Gradually, some of my household items also went to his place. When I realized it, I was sitting on his sofa in my pajamas eating fried pork ribs. My feet were resting on his lap, and the Black Bean was playing with the teething toy on the floor. He took a clean cherry, removed the stem, and put it in my mouth. It was delicious. I leaned directly into his arms, and my hands traced the contours of his muscles. He lowered his head and gave me a soft kiss on the tip of my nose, then slipped a cherry into my mouth. I don't know when it happened, but we started kissing, and his hand slowly slipped under my pajamas. Feeling his caress, I soon relaxed and leaned against his shoulder, letting him kiss me. His kisses traveled down my chest, the buttons of my pajamas undone, my fingers roaming over his abs. Suddenly, he rolled over on top of me, as if he wanted to possess me completely. I could only feel my breathing become rapid. After the long kiss, my legs were wrapped around his waist, and I leaned lightly against him, but he grabbed my calves and kissed my knees. It's not the right time yet. I felt like he was deliberately making me anxious, so I kicked his leg angrily. Time passed quickly, and it was time to go to bed. Liam hugged me and wouldn't let go, so I pushed his head and gave him his words back. It's not the right time yet. He just buried his head in my arms, grabbed my waist with his hands, and spoke in a somewhat dull tone. But I just want to hug you to sleep. Seeing that I didn't agree, he hugged me tightly. I had no choice but to shrink into his arms. Let me be clear, no inappropriate actions are allowed. I feel like Liam is really getting out of line, but every time I willingly submit. He asked the moving company to move all my usual things to his house, and as a result, his room is full. I sat on the carpet, stroked the little black poodle's fluffy little head in my hands, and watched him organize my things one by one. There's a school bazaar tomorrow. Do you want to come? Our department has prepared a lot of animal wool felt. How about taking Blackie to play? I was very interested in the wool felt he mentioned, so the next day at the bazaar, I paid special attention to their department's wool felt. Unexpectedly, their wool felt looked really disappointing. I held a round piece with an irregular shape and looked left and right, not quite sure, and asked, "What is this?" "This is the black bean felt I made." I looked down at the puppy at my feet and then at the object in my hands, and reluctantly accepted this explanation. "There are lots of interesting things here, I'll show you." On the way, he took my hand and greeted familiar classmates. "You little rascal, don't you have a girlfriend to treat?" A few of his friends gathered around grinning, and Liam kicked at them. "They haven't agreed yet." Before Liam could confess his love for me, I saw a photo of him kissing another girl. The photo was taken at his school, and the girl was wearing a floral dress. I sent the photo to Liam. "You have 3 hours to convince me with reasons and evidence." I'm not just going to listen to his side of the story. I spent some money and hired a private investigator to look into the information on the photo. I opened the man's profile and found that his circle of friends was clean, with a blank profile picture and background. I thought hard and recalled that I had last seen this girl at the charity sale at Liam's school. I remembered that she was very gentle, and the stall she was selling at sold cakes she had made herself. I even bought a few. I paused when I felt Blackbean's hand, and gave a little impatient TSK. Less than 10 minutes after the message was sent, Liam called me a dozen times. I ignored the phone vibrating nonstop and just lay on the sofa hugging Black Didizu and daydreaming. Until a number called, I picked up the phone and a girl's voice with a hint of crying came from the other end. She asked why I had sent him the photo. I thought it was quite funny, so I asked her why I couldn't send him the photo. She was a little stunned and her voice sounded a little uncomfortable. "If you don't like him, don't go bothering him for no reason. I really don't want to have this kind of pointless conversation with you," I sighed. "If you want to chase after him, just go and tell him directly, don't come trouble me. Then let's compete fairly," I sighed. "Okay, since we already live together, you can move in too. He cooks really well, so you can help with the dishes." The person on the other end of the phone seemed to be irritated by me, panting and repeating after you. "I'll wait for you to come over." I hung up the phone with a long tone. To my surprise, Liam came home panting, relieved to see that I was still there. Before he could say anything, I spoke first. "She wants to compete with me on equal terms. Do you think she should move in with us?" It was the girl calling from the phone again, so I pushed the phone in front of him and told him to answer it. It seemed to be the girl's friend on the other end, who asked angrily as soon as she spoke, "What did you say to Emily?" She hung up the phone and started to cry. "You have to apologize to me." Liam frowned. "Are you Emily's roommate? Can you tell her to stop bothering my girlfriend?" The other person was silent for a long time and then hung up the phone. "She is my colleague, in the same department as me. We really don't have a relationship. A few days ago, she confessed her love to me, and I told her that I already had a girlfriend. I didn't expect her to go to you. I don't know how she got your contact information, but I swear I didn't tell her, and she has nothing to do with it." He leaned over to me a little pitifully, carefully took my hand in his, and gave it a little kiss on the lips. "If you're angry, just hit me a little. Can you not be cold to me? Just give me 3 hours." I went to the surveillance room to ask for their help on purpose, and I was able to record a little bit. If I slowed down on the way back, I wouldn't have enough time. "You're not being fair to me." I watched the video he sent me. It was exactly what he said it was. The video was clearly secretly recorded, and the quality was a little worse than that of a private investigator's, but you could tell that nothing had been tampered with. I knew he wasn't lying, but I still felt a little uncomfortable. I understood that I had already fallen for him, but the way we met was a bit messy. The more I thought about it, the more I felt aggrieved. In a huff, I walked towards the bedroom with Black Bean. When he saw me not speaking and about to leave, he thought I really was leaving, so he grabbed me and pulled me back. He cupped my face in his hands, looked at me intently and said, "Olivia, do you want to leave me?" He looked very sad, bent down and held me in his arms. His voice was full of sobs and he was a little shaky. He said, "I like you, you know I like you very much, don't leave me, I want to be with you." I didn't expect him to confess at this time, and I was sad and happy at the same time. "Why didn't you send the video and what did you come back for?" He saw that I wasn't angry anymore and became happy too. He hugged me tightly and rubbed his face against my neck. At that time, I was in such a hurry, afraid that you would ignore me, so I wanted to find you quickly. When you didn't answer my phone calls, I really felt like the whole world had turned gray. You were all I could think about, and I couldn't think straight about anything else. He looked at me earnestly, his eyes full of tenderness and love. "Olivia, we both have puppies now, so why don't you consider being my girlfriend? I like you, and the puppy likes you too. Most importantly, I really can't live without you, and I want to see you every day. So please say yes." My heart was beating fast. I smiled happily and gave him a kiss. "Boyfriend, you have to make sweet and sour pork for me tonight." Liam took a series of 9 grid photos of us and then announced our relationship in his circle of friends. His eyes were burning with excitement as he looked at me expectantly while I posted the photo. My best friend was the first to call me. "Olivia, where is this place? Can you tell me? I want to try it too." Liam's face changed, he was obviously unhappy, and he pinched me in passing. "This is not a bag, it's an adoption." I held his hand and patted the back of it gently to give him some comfort. "This time it's really a relationship, not a joke." I was serious, and Liam rested his chin on my shoulder contentedly, pecking affectionately. Perhaps he didn't get the hang of the right amount of force, because the sound of the kiss almost cut off our conversation with my best friend. I widened my eyes, but he took a step closer and gently bit my earlobe with his mouth. My best friend suppressed a laugh and spoke in a relaxed tone. "It's only 3 p.m., and young people have so much energy. You go ahead and keep working." My face flushed immediately, and after hanging up the phone, I began to scold Liam. "You did that on purpose. I just wanted to kiss you." He kept staring at me, and suddenly pulled me into his arms. His soft lips touched my neck, and he muttered something into my ear. "I like you more and more, especially when you just called me your boyfriend. I really hope to be with you forever." Your kisses on the back of my neck made me feel a little itchy, and my heart felt sweet. His movements were gentle, but with a longing strength, leaving a series of kiss marks on my back. I turned my head and kissed him back, gently biting his lips. He seemed very happy, hugging me tightly, his lips kissing my shoulders and chest like a beautiful flower. I felt a little breathless, so I gently pushed his head. "Stop it." He licked his lips, as if suddenly remembering something. "You've never said you like me." Amidst a passionate kiss, he confided in me with a hint of grievance. I couldn't help but laugh, and kissed his straight nose again. "Liking you is liking you the most."